Aiden Heyman and Anthony Martin went before a judge Wednesday morning. Both are accused of raping a woman alongside Angel Portillo. All three men were AFR firefighters at the time. Martin has since retired.
Your Honor, this case is incredibly, just inherently dangerous just by the nature of the circumstances in the case and the way that, and the facts that we have before you.
The state first argued that Heyman exploited his authority and preyed on her, pointing to the criminal complaint which states he orchestrated much of what happened and instructed the others on how to sexually assault the victim.
We do have one of those individuals that was younger and that did heed the directions of the defendant, that the defendant did orchestrate to keep this a secret, to not tell anybody, and to attempt to reach out to the family member of the named victim.
Meanwhile, Heyman's defense argued that they were all allegations and there were several inconsistencies in the victim's statements.
We cooperated with APD. He turned over a DNA sample. He turned over his phone. I sent several messages to the APD officer that we will give a statement. Mr. Heyman wants to come in and tell his side of what happened. But that wasn't allowed. They didn't do that. They just rushed right to a charge and did an arrest warrant and had him locked up, even though we were cooperating.
Ultimately, the judge decided that he was a danger to the victim and the integrity of the case, but not the community. He was ordered to have no contact with the victim or co-defendants and also has a curfew in place.
He is not to be released until GPS is available through pretrial services or through that private company. And what I'm putting on the third-party release is pretrial services upon the availability of GPS monitoring device or certification that a third-party GPS company agrees to monitor him until pretrial services has those GPS monitors available.
Anthony Martin was up next, the state arguing very similar evidence.
All of these defendants did communicate and conspire with each other following this incident, and that we do have evidence, at least that at this early stage, that they were communicating about what occurred. We do have phone calls immediately preceding the moment when the named victim escaped from this house and called for help.
Martin's defense challenged the state, saying that communicating does not mean there was consciousness of guilt and that Martin has been a career fireman in good standing.
If a defendant might not be able to follow official directives, then they may indeed be dangerous. But a lifetime of service for the fire department suggests otherwise, that Mr. Martin is perfectly capable of following official directives. And so this is evidence that weighs heavily in his favor, that he can abide by conditions of release.
Judge BACA-MILLER said he was not the lead conspirator in the case and therefore did not need a curfew. He will be released under similar circumstances and pending a GPS monitor. Now they can ask the judge to reconsider their GPS monitor after 90 days with no violations. The third conspirator, Angel Portillo, also appeared in court this afternoon. Coming up at 6:30, I'll break down his pretrial detention hearing. Tessa.